And so this info session is for the Fall Embedded 2026 program to Costa Rica. So it's a short-term program and the course is intensive Spanish. We will share more about all of the details of the program today. And my name is Tracy. I am a program manager in the Center for Global Education. So this is one of the programs that I manage. And I'm looking forward to the journey taking you through the application all the way to the course and the on-site portion. I do not travel with the students. That's what your faculty director is here for. So I'll turn it over to Patricia. You can introduce yourself.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Patricia Bolaños Faves. I've been teaching here for over 31 years. So I'm a dinosaur. I'm originally from Ecuador. The co-director is going to be Tanya Gomez. She's from Colombia. She's been teaching these 15 years here on campus. So we're on this building over here. So if you have any questions or anything, I'll be teaching in the Spanish Study Department. I specialize in Spanish poetry of the 20th century. I'm really interested in cultural studies and how different cultures of the Hispanic world, because most people think it's just very similar, and it's not. So, but yeah, if you have any questions, just come to see me and Ricarda and 9. If you have any questions.
Great. And if you have questions throughout the session, this is a great opportunity for you to ask those questions. Don't be shy. If you have a question, it's likely that another person has the same question. So feel free to stop at any time, raise your hand, and we'll address your question. There will also be time at the end as well. So let's dive right in. This is the course information, and all of this information can also be found online on our global portal. So that's where we have our program brochures, and also our application is on the global portal. So this course is an embedded course, which means that it starts on campus next fall. So it'll be during CD Mod starting on October 21st, going through December 15th. That's the on-campus portion. We have it on, I don't have the days on here. It's Monday, Wednesday, 6:15 to 7:35. And it'll be off campus. Then you'll travel with the same class, the classmates and the faculty director in January 3rd to 16th in 2027. So the course is Hispanic Studies 201. It's intensive Spanish is the title of it. And the prerequisite for the course is Hispanic Studies 111. So if you have completed 111 or 112, then you're eligible for this program. And the good thing about this course is that you will fulfill your global language proficiency requirement for the integrations curriculum by taking this course. So it's a 4-credit course, half of the semester on campus, 2 weeks abroad to get the full immersion experience in Costa Rica, and you'll fulfill your global language. You'll also fulfill the experiential engagement, that's the EX requirement, and your global engagement, that's GL for the integrations curriculum.
So it's really heavily loaded.
Yeah, yep, you'll get a lot of bang for your buck in terms of graduation requirements fulfilled through this program. And the program location in Costa Rica is going to be in San Joaquin de Flores. So that's a smaller town located right outside of the capital city, San Jose. So it's really close to the airport. It's really conveniently located, just 3 miles away. And then it's only 10 miles away from the capital city. So it's a really nice location. It's a small, friendly, safe town that's outside of this bigger city. So you'll still be able to go into the city and see a lot of the culture and history that San Jose has to offer. But you'll be residing in a very pleasant, quaint little town outside of San Jose. So it's described as charming, it's very walkable, and our faculty directors visited. So Patricia and Tanya have been there, and they gave their stamp of approval. So we're very excited to be sending our students to San Joaquin, and we're partnering with, it's called Academics Programs International, API, and Instituto San Joaquin de Flores is where you'll have classroom space, and they will have staff in Costa Rica that help organize your activities and your excursions that you'll be doing during the 2 weeks. And then your housing, you'll be residing in homestays with local families while you're in San Joaquin. And so this really is to capitalize on your language immersion. It's such a wonderful experience and opportunity for you to practice the Spanish that you've been learning in the classroom in a real life setting. So there's no better practice than full immersion, and so that's what this program aims to do. All right, Patricia already gave a bit of an introduction, but is there anything else you would like to add about you and what you're looking forward to in Costa Rica?
Well, I'm really looking forward to teaching this course. It'll be a new course because it's accelerated, but at the same time, it's going to be more practical Spanish. It's practical, the Spanish that you can use, and it's going to be focused especially, particularly on Costa Rican culture. So that'll be, very concentrated, but also things that you can really use will be task oriented, like negotiating in a market and, your flavors, and there's cooking, all kinds of activities that will be really fun.
Yeah, and then this picture here is of Tanya, so she will also be accompanying the group during the 2 weeks on site in Costa Rica. Here's more information about the course. So as been previously mentioned, it's a comprehensive and intensive Spanish course. So if you've completed 111 or 112, you're eligible to take this one. And it will fulfill up through, the course number is 201, but it fulfills 211 is the equivalent. So you'll have the on-campus portion. You'll be in class doing different speaking and listening activities, learning about Costa Rican culture and the Costa Rican way of life, followed by the 2-week immersion experience in San Joaquin. So once you're on site, you'll continue classes. You'll have language classes and tutoring once you're in Costa Rica. You'll be placed in a homestay with a local family, and you'll have a bunch of different activities and excursions to be able to experience the Costa Rican culture and all that Costa Rica has to offer. Anything to add there?
No, I think there's going to be a classroom experience while we're there, but also these extracurricular activities that will you'll be able to put what you learn in the classroom there immediately on other settings.
Yep, it'll be very applicable
Mm-hmm.
to what you're learning. Here are some photos of the Instituto. So you can see they have some classroom spaces. Some of the classrooms are smaller, some are larger. So it just depends on how many students are on the program, sort of what the classroom setup will look like. But they have some nice spaces for classes, but also some communal gathering spaces, and they always have coffee and fresh fruit. They'll have snacks for you every day, and staff that are there to answer your questions. Patricia visited the Instituto.
Yeah, and they were very well equipped. They have a little kitchen, so we'll do like a cooking demo. They'll have refrigerators if you bring your lunch, because your families will provide you with a meal to bring home to classroom with you, and you can put it there. You can warm it up. It's really well equipped.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. You should see all the vegetation, all the tropical. Oh, it's amazing.
And it will be January, and so there's no better time to get out of Minnesota than January. So just imagine the frigid cold, and then contrast that with the wonderful tropics of Costa Rica. There's no better time to get away. So here's a bit of information about the homestay setup. You'll be placed typically one student per host family, and that is to maximize your language immersion. And so that's intentionally set up that way. The host families that are selected, I know that could sound intimidating, like I'm gonna be all alone and I don't know Spanish that well. It's for your learning. And these families have been selected by staff from the Instituto. They've gone through interviews, they've been vetted, they've answered questions like, what do you do in your free time? What do you do on the weekends? Have you hosted international students before? And many of them have. So they're very well prepared to host international students and to be patient with you. They know that you're learning Spanish. And so I think that is part of the fun and part of the experience is to have that some moments of uncomfortability, but that's where the best learning happens. So yes, question.
Okay, so I'm going to assume that the host family speak English as well.
Not
Not
necessarily.
necessarily.
No,
Like not at all.
it's not a requirement for them to know English.
And that is part of but that is part of being with a family. Is actually putting your language into practice, so speaking with them, reading them. It'd be uncomfortable at first, the first day, the second day, but third day will be okay. But you'll have your own space, private space, there'll be accommodations, like we actually met with one of the families. These are families that have an experience, that had host students before. And they know what they're doing, and they know how to help you, and they'll advise you on, what to do, on how things work. Yeah,
And also for peace of mind, it's a very walkable city and you'll be located close to other students. So you can walk to the Instituto, you can walk to other students' houses. So like if you wanna walk and find each other on your way to the Instituto, that's totally doable because it's a small, very walkable city.
Yeah.
I know I studied abroad. When I studied abroad, I lived with a host family and I had similar feelings of, I don't know how it's going to be, what's the dynamic, I'm just learning Spanish, I don't know. And it ended up being so wonderful for language learning. I studied in Mexico, but this is going to be a similar setup for you all in Costa Rica, so.
and it's very likely, I've had students that travel abroad, even in short experiences. And then get contact with their families, they form an attachment to them, they keep in touch, and they revisit it again and things like that, so.
It really ends up being students'
Yeah.
highlights is the host families. And they'll provide you with meals. So you have 3 meals a day provided by the host family. That's what's pictured here is sort of a typical Costa Rican meal. There's typically rice and beans in some form, plátanos, good plantains. They could be ripe, they could be, what's the word, not ripe? Sweet, starchy, every type of plantain possible. So lots of good fruit, amazing, fresh fruit, and your family will be providing 3 meals a day. They'll also have linens and towels for you in your own bedroom. And they'll clean once a week. And this is, as we've been saying, such a great opportunity for your language immersion. And the program is intentionally designed with the homestay in mind. All right, so there are many activities that we have programmed into the 2 weeks, and so it's going to be a very busy 2 weeks, filled with things like walking tours of the local areas, visiting markets, whether that's in San Joaquin or San Jose or close by. You'll visit a botanical garden and learn about medicinal plants that's nearby. Patricia, you visited the botanical garden when you were there, or were you?
We didn't visit there.
No.
We couldn't at the time, but yeah, because we had so many other places to visit, yeah, there'll be lots of activities, I mean, and that is just, the botanical gardens, it's very local, there's a museum, there's a lot of local things that we can do, even if it's not with a group. You could find someone to go and say, if you're interested in the gold museum, they can go, it's within, it is in the area, so it's not that far away.
Yeah,
And Uber works really well, a lot of people take American dollars as well, instead of the colones.
and there will be a lot of activities programmed into the itinerary, so you will have transportation provided to a lot of these places as well. That's already built in and scheduled out. So one of the things that the program includes is guest lectures, and the topics haven't been decided yet, but this means we're bringing in local Costa Ricans to talk about a specific topic. So some of the topics that they have as examples are related to healthcare. So like pre-med might pique your interest to learn about these topics, community health and traditional remedies, or the healthcare system in Costa Rica. And there's a whole range of topics. And so once the class is determined, we'll look at sort of the interests of the students and what your majors, minors are, and we'll determine the topics of the guest lectures, but there will be several that are built into the program, so that you can learn from local Costa Ricans when you're there on different topics. You'll also have some other classes like a dance class and a cooking class that you'll be participating in as part of the program, and some volunteer work such as visiting a local clinic or a local senior care center. They're very common in Costa Rica and they love having visitors. So that's one thing that we'll build into the program too. Any questions about activities? So you could expect a typical day when you're on site is to be with your host family for breakfast, and then in the morning go and have class and some sort of activity. Either going back to your host family for lunch or having lunch with the group, and then having another activity in the afternoon. And then back to your host family for dinner, and that would be a typical day. Each day you'll be out doing something. It'll be pretty active and lots of language learning involved. In different ways, so you won't just be sitting in a classroom the whole time. All right, there are some other excursions also built into the program. So there are some visits to national parks. This first picture here is of the Boas Volcano National Park. So you can, as long as it's not active, they'll allow you to go up and visit the volcano. So there's several volcanoes in Costa Rica, that's one of them that you'll be able to visit. There's also a coffee plantation nearby, so that's what this photo is of. And this is a photo of a guided tour of that coffee plantation where you can actually see the coffee on the plant and learn about the whole process of how the coffee goes from being on the plant to being processed into a drink. And then this photo here is Manuel Antonio National Park. It's beautiful. It's right on the coast of the Pacific coast of Costa Rica. It's got some beaches, but also lots of animals and nature. So you'll have guided tours through this national park to be able to spot the animals, the wildlife, butterflies, monkeys. I've visited this national park before, and a raccoon stole my lunch while I was in the ocean. So there's lots of wildlife to be seen. The monkeys are out and active, so really fun and just gorgeous scenery. Anything to add?
It's not like a national park that you imagine here huge, because the United States is huge, but it's a small country, so it's a small national park, but given the size of the park, the amount of flora and fauna that you see is incredible.
So really good bird watching, lots of
Mhm.
butterflies.
And there's a beautiful beach that the water was very warm, very nice.
Yes,
So we'll be allowed to go swimming at the beach or?
The hike, depending on how hot it is, we'll go up as we go up, and then as we come down, there's the beach, and there's another excursion, we go by boat, and there's lots of monkeys in the area. So I don't know if we're gonna do that yet, so we'll see.
to be determined, but it's an option. Other questions on excursions?
There's also lots of opportunities, if you're very outdoorsy and you like extreme sports, you are able to do that outside of the program in your free time. So you're able to do a lot of things that you might otherwise not be able to do. I mean, there is a rainforest, there's, but it takes a little bit more travel, so if you organize it right with the free time that you have, you can do other things as well,
Yeah, there will be a lot to see and do. These are just some other things that are included in the program. So there will be transportation arranged from the airport in San Jose that will drop you off in San Joaquin, and then also pick you up to bring you back to the airport when the program ends. So that's all included. There will be some health, safety, and cultural orientation before you leave for Costa Rica, and then also when you arrive. The staff on site will help you feel like you have your bearings and help you feel safe once you're on site.
And Tanya will be there at the airport to greet you. Yeah, so you see a familiar face.
Yeah, we'll have our faculty there too, so all of this is included in the program. There will be a welcome meal altogether, a farewell meal altogether, so that's outside of your family, that's just with the group altogether. And then transportation to all of the activities that are outside San Joaquin. So like this beach, the Manuel Antonio beach is a couple hours drive away from San Antonio. And so that's included in your fee. Also to get to the volcano or the coffee plantation, you'll need some transportation, and that's built in for you as well. So you don't need to worry about those logistics. It's already taken care of. Okay, so we have some cost information here. And so I'll go through this sort of line by line. This is how it will be billed for the semester. So your fall semester will be billed. Everything in section A is billed to your student account. So you'd have regular tuition and required fees, just like you're billed every semester on campus. You'll have your housing and meal contract, and that says varies by student. So your exact amount there depends on your individual situation, on where you're living and what meal plan you have. And then in addition to that, you'd have this $4,000 education abroad program fee. So that $4,000 includes all of the things that I just covered, your homestay, the classroom space, the excursions, all of the activities that you have on site are included in that $4,000. It includes insurance that you're required to have, your housing, your local transportation. So all of that gets billed to your student account. And one thing I like to point out is that your financial aid applies to that amount. So if you receive state, federal funding, institutional scholarships, grants, loans, anything included in your financial aid package can apply to that $4,000 education abroad program fee. Thank you. So we also have some scholarships that you can apply for. One of them is the CSB Initiative Global Scholarship that all of the students who applied to this study abroad program can also apply for the scholarship. And we share the link with you after you have applied and been accepted to the program. So the typical award amounts are anywhere from like 500, maybe up to 1,500 per student, depending on your level of need and the number of applicants that we have. But that's a good opportunity for all students to apply for that scholarship. It can help a lot with your education abroad fee. If you receive a Pell Grant, if you know within your financial aid package that you receive a Pell Grant, you're also eligible to apply for this Gilman Scholarship. It's a national scholarship and it's competitive, but we do have students who are awarded this scholarship year after year. And so it awards anywhere between $3,000 and $4,000, which is so helpful. When your program fee is $4,000, that Gilman Scholarship could cover almost all of it. So if you know you receive a Pell Grant, I highly recommend applying for the Gilman Scholarship, and that deadline will be in early March 2026. So we will be announcing sort of when that opens, but you can also look at their website, the Gilman Scholarship, just search it on Google. You can find it and sort of start working on your essay questions, and our staff in our office will help review your essays so that you submit a really quality application and have good chances of being awarded the scholarship.
So if you notice what is not covered here is your airfare.
Yeah.
Right? Airfare, and if there is an emergency, if your flight is late, you need to communicate with us, we'll exchange. We'll go through WhatsApp to communicate with one another, and we'll make sure that there's arrangements that you're not left in the lurch. And if there's an emergency while we're on the program, me or Tanya will be with you so that we're taken care of. So to reassure your parents as you're going for Thanksgiving or speaking to them through Thanksgiving break.
Yep. And so one other note about scholarships, we do have a full list of scholarships on our My CSBSJU page, and so you can peruse those and see what scholarships you might apply, might qualify for. And there's another one called the Fund for Education Abroad that also opens in January. So that's another good one to look at applying to. But as Patricia mentioned, we do have these estimated out-of-pocket expenses. That's everything in section B here. So there's a $200 application fee. That's not meant to be a hindrance for you to submit your application. We can set up a payment plan if you need that. So you just have to meet with a staff member in the Center for Global Education, and we can set up an application fee payment plan. So you could pay like $50 every 2 weeks for 2 months, or you could pay $100 per month for 2 months. Whatever you need in order to be able to pay that fee. That fee does apply to your program if you're accepted on the program. If you pay the fee and submit your application, but you're not accepted on the program, we would refund that money to you. If you're accepted to the program, but then within the 3-day period that we give you to commit to the program, you decide you no longer want to go, we also refund the $200 to you. So There's flexibility with that. It's not meant to be a hindrance to you for submitting your application. There is also airfare that you'll have to budget for and pay for out of pocket. So we estimate a round trip in January to cost around $1,000. That can fluctuate based on the time you book and the fare deal that you find, but that's our estimate. And then everybody traveling on this program needs a passport. So if you don't have a passport, the fee to get one is $165. If your passport's about to expire, or if it will expire before July of 2027, you'll need to apply for a new one. So that would be another expense for you out of pocket. All of that is before the program begins, but then when you're on site, there will be some things you may need to pay for, but not a lot. So most of your meals are built into the program, but if you're wanting to buy a meal outside of your host family or outside of a scheduled excursion, then that's up to you to pay for, and we estimate maybe $150. But that really depends on your personal preference and how often and where you're going to have a meal outside of what's already included in the program. Students are required to have a cell phone that works when you're in Costa Rica. As Patricia mentioned, you'll be in touch through WhatsApp, and so you need to have cell phone service. So depending on your plan and your provider, that can vary in the cost of that, but we estimate around $50 average. It really depends on who your provider is and what the international coverage is. But you'll need to account for that in your budget, and then whatever else you want to buy when you're on site. If you're booking an additional excursion or buying souvenirs,
You'll spend money on souvenirs.
yeah, you'll be visiting some markets, and so you'll have an opportunity to shop. So it really depends on what you want to buy and how much you are buying. How you're gonna spend there. But any questions about costs? You can also find this information linked on our global portal brochure. There's a finances tab in the Costa Rica brochure. So you click on the finances tab and you'll find this information there.
One thing I just wanted to make sure to let you know, since we're gonna be there for almost 2 weeks, not quite 2 weeks, do not bring 2 suitcases. That's gonna be a lot of Henderson for you, all the time. It packed with, considering the weather, what to put, but not to carry comfortable shoes. We might have one meal, but they're really relaxed. The concept, their motto is pura vida, which is, just simple life. Rather than, it's not very formal,
Yeah, it's a good idea not to overpack. Here are some tips that we have for your application. So we are looking for a minimum GPA of 2.5. If you're right on the border of that, I still recommend submitting your application. We sometimes make conditional acceptances. So even if you're right on the border of 2.5, I still suggest submitting. You'll have to form a personal statement and then also submit a resume as part of your application. So the personal statement is answering this question. Describe your academic, personal, and professional goals for this program. So we encourage you to put some thought into this answer. It's really, we're not looking for, I heard studying abroad is cool. That's not a very solid personal statement. So put some time and some thought into this. We do have study abroad mentors within our office that work in the Experience Hub that can meet with you one-on-one to help you form your statement. They can take you through some sample statements and help you reflect on what your goals actually are for this program. I would expect one of the academic goals is to learn Spanish, and so that should be an easy answer for you there. But take time to think about what your other responses are for the other areas, personal and professional.
And also, for example, how this experience in Costa Rica and learning Spanish is going to benefit you both personally, academically, and in professional life in the future. So if you're thinking of medicine, studying non-traditional medical herbs and how a medical system in Costa Rica works or something.
Yep, so put some thought into that. And we also have career mentors in the Experience Hub that can help you write a resume. So sometimes students have never made a resume before applying to study abroad, and we are here for that to help you make the resume. Yes.
What exactly like is your resume used towards? How good does your resume have? Like what do y'all look for on it?
Within the study abroad application? Yeah, so our faculty directors will be reviewing the resume. Patricia, is there any information that you are particularly looking for, do you think?
Well, more than anything else, I would like to see how you, because there's going to be several applicants, and we have to make a selection, because we may not be able to take everyone, because this is the first time we take this program. There's a limit to how many people we can fit in one of the buses available for the transportation for the excursions. So we have to be selective, so we wanna see, we didn't take the candidates that are fun, really motivated about this, going over there. How they hope to, how adaptable they may be to a foreign environment. You know, there will be some reticence, but are you very flexible and able to adapt to an environment and deal with a family that speaks Spanish alone? How willing you learn to, how motivated are you to learn Spanish and learn about the Costa Rica culture? Things like that, yeah, your enthusiasm for it. Did I answer your question? Yeah.
Yes, I heard skills like flexibility, adaptability. And so if you meet with a career mentor in the Experience Hub, they can help you reflect on the experience that you have, even if you haven't had a formal job. But they can look at your coursework that you completed or volunteer experience, things like that, to help you transfer that to a resume and highlight how adaptable and flexible and ready you are for this adventure. So, yeah, you can sign up for an appointment with our career mentors through Handshake. And that should be linked on my CSBSJU as well as the XPD website. We also have a question within our application about conduct records. And so if you're currently on disciplinary probation, we can accept you on the program. If disciplinary or academic probation is part of your past and you have completed your sanction and moved on from that, then we can consider your acceptance. But there is a question about your conduct history within the application. So we're looking for your honesty with that answer. And as I've been mentioning, we're looking for your preparation and your enthusiasm. So I don't recommend starting this application the night before it's due. You'll want to put some time and effort into the application. And so that's why we're encouraging you to start it now. Take a look at the questions and the requirements now so that you can submit a quality application by the deadline, which is noon on Tuesday, February 3rd. So here are some next steps that you can take as you prepare for your study abroad experience. We talked about costs, and there are some significant costs involved, so it's never too early to start planning for that and to make a plan, whether it's setting aside a certain amount of money each week from the job that you have or getting an additional job that's only dedicated, those savings are going towards study abroad. You can look at applying to scholarships as part of your financial plan as well, but start now, even though the experience is over a year away. It's never too early to start that. And if you haven't been on the global portal yet, I recommend getting in there and creating your traveler profile. You can read all of the information about this program and you can start your application in the global portal. And as I mentioned too, you can meet with a study abroad mentor. They can help you explore your options and look at the application and give you some tips for success for submitting a quality application. The application deadline is in February, and there could be an interview with the faculty director after that. That would happen between the 4th and the 16th of February, and we would notify you of your acceptance before 11 a.m. on Tuesday, February 17th. So you would know if you're accepted or not into the program before class registration happens for the fall semester. So that's our timeline for when we would notify you of your acceptance. And we are running this promo right now. So if you start your application by November 30th, we will automatically enter you into this drawing for a waived application fee. So for this program, it's $200 that you wouldn't have to pay if you win the raffle. So
So they don't have to finish up again, you started.
Just starting, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need to submit it by November 30th. Just go on the Google portal and click start your application.
You're starting it now.
And so by doing that, we'll enter you into this drawing. So we'll notify the winner after November 30th. And yes, may the odds be in your favor. That's $200 that you could not be on. That's all I have for this info session. Do you have any other questions? Yes.
Okay, I have questions about like airfare.
Mhm.
So. Let's say if I get accepted, if the program is from the 3rd to the 16th, how would airfare work? Like, do you travel there on the 3rd and leave on the 16th, or do you have to travel like the day before?
Yeah, so be traveling on the 3rd, and we'll provide these details in an orientation meeting once you're accepted. So you'd be traveling on the 3rd, and you can travel from Minnesota to Costa Rica in one day. You'd have one layover in Texas probably,
Or Miami.
or Miami or Florida. So one flight to the south of the US and then another flight to Costa Rica. You could arrive in a day. Good questions. Anything else?
Any other questions?
Not that I can think of right now.
Yeah.
If you do
And you
have
can always
questions,
contact me about
Yep.
questions or conversations, yeah.
yeah, so you can email.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I know you said like what a day like schedule would look like, but what would the time frame be? Like, how would it be early in the morning and how late in the afternoon until you like go back to your post office? Like, how much free time do you actually have?
Yeah,
Well, we're planning for the classes in the morning because it looks like it will be a little bit cooler, not too early in the morning, but we need to have time to have the classes. We have 3 hours, right? In which we're gonna be practicing, little breaks in between. They're already scared of it. But we're gonna meet them, we're gonna have coffee, we're gonna chat, we're gonna talk about our experiences, then we're gonna get into, a warm-up activity, then the activities about culture, then we'll practice some of them. We'll have a break, time for lunch, and then most of the time in the afternoon, you will have off. If there's no excursion, so we still have to plan those excursions, but will those be available? If the volcano is erupting, so we have to make some alterations. And this is why you need to be flexible. When we're
Yeah.
traveling to Latin America, you have to think of plan A, the contingency plan B, and if that doesn't work, plan C. So we're gonna, Tanya and I will be working very hard on making different alternatives. But you have to be able to be a little bit flexible in that story. We're gonna be really advocate for the best experience for you no matter what.
I have a question. So are we responsible for like booking flights, or are you guys gonna book us like on the scene?
you can all book your own flight. We'll provide some guidance on which flights maybe look good to book based on the itinerary, and we'll provide that guidance to you during orientation, but you won't be required to all be on the same flight.
Okay, but like we'll go to like the same, it's all gonna be the same airport and then
Yes.
find each other. And train.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, so you just, depending on where you're coming from, not all students come from Minneapolis, some students come from California, from Texas, some are coming from the Bahamas, so some students, they come from different places. So their flight may be arriving at different times, but ideally, we'll all meet at the airport at a certain time when the bus will be there. And we will ask you to give us your flight itinerary, so we know what flight to look for, what flight to expect, and when to be on the bus to meet you at the airport. Some of you will arrive early, so you just hang around the airport, there'll be a little bars over there, not bars, but cafes. No, don't head to bars right away. There'll be a cafe, you can have an empanada there or something, and then wait for the rest of the group, and you'll see each other. Because we will have to spend time in the class, so you will know each other, you'll develop a rapport, you'll get to know one another, and you look out for one another as well. But yes, look out for us. I am a little shorter, so,
We'll have a
Have a
clear-
sign.
yeah, we'll have a designated meeting spot, and you'll have the instructions of
Yeah.
where to meet at what time. So all of that will be covered in your pre-departure orientation.
yeah.
One more question. Okay, so
No,
for
you
the
can
pro-
have as many questions as you want to.
so
This is
for the
question
program-
Yeah.
For the program itself, like after we come from Costa Rica, would we have to do anything else for the class itself, or like?
Well, there will, what we'll do want to have is an exit interview exam kind of thing, in which we could see whether before you leave and also when you depart, because it's part of the. It's part of the integrations curriculum that we have to give some report about the information, how much was acquired for the cultural component. So we will do before what you know, before we start the classes in the, how much you know about Costa Rica and blah, blah, blah. And then when you finish it, come back, how much have you learned about? So you can also have an idea how much was gained from this experience for you.
Okay, so when you say when you come back, would that be like done in Costa Rica just because like?
Most likely,
Okay.
most likely. Because when we come back, we're in January, some of you will be you'll go back to the Bahamas, some students, you know. Yeah. Yeah, and most likely we'll do it online. When we're over there, cause the institute has Wi-Fi, has everything.
Yeah.
And usually, I believe also the families, I believe they also have Wi-Fi, correct?
They'll have to.
Yeah, so you'll be able to communicate with each other, with your family members, the school and everything else.
For the currency difference, is there like what is it? Like US dollars to?
So colores, it used to be, when we got there, it was 500 to $1, so, but we had dollars, they would take dollars easily,
Oh, so they take US dollars?
yeah. They took US dollars, they were happy to take your US dollars.
And if you have a credit card or a debit card too, that usually works. as well.
Yeah, and there's Uber. Easily, so you can, I mean, it was very, very, very easy to move around, the money wasn't an issue, you don't have, I mean, we did exchange money to colones, but you don't need to have colones with you necessarily. It is practical, I would not say do not buy cologne, yes, have the cologne in hand, because when you go to a market, you know, they would prefer colones,
And
but
so
they
you
will
can,
take dollars if they have to.
yep, like if you bring a debit card, you can find an ATM and then withdraw the monies. Or if you bring US
It's
dollars,
quite easy.
there will be places to exchange your money too.
Yeah.
Yep. But
Yeah, in fact, in the airport right away, when you arrive, you can exchange them there, there's always. Exchange this, you can buy it with your credit card, $5, colones, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking Chilean pesos. Let me check.
500 sounds right.
And then in the class, we're gonna familiarize what the bills look like. So that you know what they look like, how many zeros, yeah, so yes, it'll be very practical.